right. So, I got the message, got your email about what you've been doing, and I like that. I like that very much.
Thank you.
So, it's paying off.
It is. It is. I've actually, it really has been actually. It's, last time I came in, you asked me, what kind of my goals were, what I was looking for. And I told you I wanted to be a working drummer. And in a way, I'm actually starting to do that. The school I was taking classes at actually, wanted me to come back, and, they hired me to, play drums in their band because, the drums, like you were saying last time, are a very pivotal point in the music, and they're very important, especially with, timekeeping and how everyone follows the drummer in the band. And so I'm actually getting paid to take a class for free, and I'm, doing musicals for high schools. I got hired to do Beauty and the Beast. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not full-time work, but...
That's a big one.
It is.
Beauty and the Beast is a lot of music, and it takes up a lot of drumming.
It does. It does. It's very orchestral. It's not like I get to hold a groove the whole time, but I gotta, be in sync with the horns, and so it's very, very challenging. But I love challenges.
That's half the battle. Loving the challenges. That's good.
Always a challenge.
Yeah.
But that's about where I'm at right now. And I was I think I told you last time, I had a falling out with one of my bands, so I just went ahead and decided to form one of my own. And at first it was kind of shaky. We did a couple party gigs, but then eventually we all kind of came together, and now we're actually starting to sound pretty good. So I'm pretty excited about that. To be having different projects going on. And, of course, staying focused at work and school. So I don't get hurt. At my job. And so I can stay focused on the music when I'm not working or at school. So, been keeping busy, staying out of trouble.
Because that's exactly what it will do. It'll keep you out of trouble. Because you stay focused on what you're doing, and it also, what it does, it causes discipline. And that discipline is you. Has absolutely nothing to do with anybody else. It's your discipline. And it's where you want to learn to focus. Everything that you want, happens. And it all goes just like that. Excuse me 1 second. Hello? Yes, it is. Well, it's, sending a check would, okay, it will, it will stop anything else from me not wanting to do something, with the people, because, I still have to pay for folks when I use somebody else's facilities. So, yes, and then what will happen, once that's done, then we can go ahead and focus on trying to make things happen and work again. Okay. All right. Well, then send it to her, to the P.O. box that you have there, and that'll be fine. Sure. Okay, we'll send the email out to you so you can do that. Okay? Thank you. You, okay, you too. All right, bye-bye. figure January and have an April date. Can't do that. You know, I mean,
2 different months. Spring, winter.
yeah.
Who knows where you're going to be in between then, right?
I know that I will be here, but I don't know what part of the month,
Oh,
what
okay.
time of the month, because I have not gotten my tickets, because I'm doing things further and further in advance, because I have to be in different countries now. It's not just local, well, the United States is local.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Right.
So now everything, it's worldwide, because I'm gonna have to speak in 10 different countries this year. That's already starting to be booked.
Wow.
Yeah,
Just this whole year, huh? 2013.
2013.
Wow. Good luck to you.
Well, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm very happy about it, because the same thing that when you wrote in your email back to me about you're now using it, you're now seeing that what we talked about is working. Well, that's what I've been getting for the past 2 or 3 years from different schools around the world. Apparently, they are willing to pay what I asked for to speak at their place before my price goes up. And I'm very pleased that they are wanting to do this, and it gives me a chance to really focus on everything that I've been doing and that I am doing, because it is important to me to get my point across. I love nothing better than to keep Bernard Purdie accessible to the world. I like that. I like that very much.
I like
It's
it.
taken me years to accept this, because I never looked at myself that way, and that's what other people. You know, everybody tells me, "Oh, you're getting a swell head." I've had a swell head for 50 years, so I don't have that. I don't look at that as a problem. No, I feel good about the accolades that are being given to me, that I have done something that the world wants me to talk about, and that's a good feeling. That's what it is for me. So the questions that I get, I'm able to give the answers, and the answers they seem to like. So it works for all of us. Yes, I'll be here 10 months out of the year, once a month. Normally I'm not here in January. I'm in California for the NAM show.
Oh, right.
And we make sure that we function and we focus and do what we have to do. And then I have to play catch up for the work that needs to be done for February. Then there's March, and then there's April. Because in April, I don't know if I'm going to be here. I think I'm going to be in Germany, because of the same kind of, like the NAM show. It's another big show.
The overseas, obviously.
Yeah, it's in Germany, in Frankfurt. But it's a great show for me. But what am I going to do? Am I going to speak? Am I going to play, perform? I need to know what direction they want me to go in.
Maybe all the above, right?
Yeah, because they asked me, they wanted me back for NAM this year, and the NAM office asked me to be back. And I had to say no, because I took a job for college in Ohio. And because of it, by taking that job, the agent wanted me now to work in their club in Cleveland. I'm only an hour and a half away from Worcester College. So I said, okay, I'll do it. But it meant not going to NAM. And that was like, oh wow, I'm not going to NAM.
It's a big show too, especially for drummers
It's the
and
biggest.
percussionists.
So I've missed it now 3 times in 35 years. So
That's heavy.
it's heavy. It's a little heavy for me because I've had companies that ask me to perform at the different places. But it all comes down to, no, I can't do it free anymore. I can't do that free for you over here. And I gotta charge this one over here, and no, can't do it.
Especially when they're wanting you over here and they're gonna actually, pay you.
You just can't do that anymore. So you either say yes or no.
There's no maybe, right?
Maybe. Yes or no, and leave it that way. But we're not here about me. We're here about you today.
You were talking about discipline.
Yes. The discipline of something that is definitely necessary, because what you are now doing for yourself is you are learning about discipline simply because of the position that you put yourself in. You have to do the job. If you don't do the job, nobody wants you. Nobody. And that's the way of the world, especially now. Nobody has patience anymore. They don't. They want it now,
So true.
not later. And they don't even know what now is. Now could be a day, a week, or a month. But it's to their advantage to have what they want when they want it. That is the key to longevity in this business. You learn your craft, then you take your craft and you make it work for you. Totally focus. That is part of learning your craft. If you learn how to play and know what every one of these sounds are, and what they mean and what they represent to you, then, and only then, do you move on to the next step, which is using it, selling it, putting it out there for other people. And that means focus. When you start to do that, it comes to you. And it comes to you in groves, or it could be that slow, until it stays and other people want it. You start becoming in demand because you have learned your craft. And you are now focusing on what you want.
And you're disciplined.
And that discipline reverts right back to your focus. That's your key. That is your big key. You have youth on your side. So that means you got time to make these things work consistently. Well, I saw you 6 months, 8 months?
It's about a year ago.
About a year?
I was 20 then, as it said in the tape, because I still listen to it, all the time. I'm
Well,
21 now.
The point is that taking that tape and letting that tape work for you, you will now have your own band.
I'm in charge of it.
You're in charge of it. So you're in charge of your own destiny.
That's heavy. I never looked at it that way.
Hey, it wasn't working with the guys that you were with. I don't know who the band leader was. I don't know who you had in the band, or who, where, or why the problem. But it was, or you would still be there. Now, the shoe is on the other foot. That means the responsibility of having that band work, gig, rehearsal, doesn't matter what it is, but it's a responsibility that you decided to take and to take on. That's discipline. Because that's the hardest job in the world. And it's a thankless job. And you can repeat those words, and it's a thankless job. Anybody that's in the band with you expects you to do whatever work that has to be done, because they're only interested in the pay. How much does it pay? When do we get paid? How often or whatever? It all comes down to what's in it for me. That is the key to make you and move you into the next position. It's not about age. Age is only a number. But it's only about making it work. And when you understand that, everything that you do comes back to you tenfold.
That's true. I never really thought of it as being a thankless job, but I mean, being a drummer in the first place, you know, you don't really get lots of thanks anyways, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to be part of something that you learned early, quickly, because it will help make you a better person. It'll help put you in the position of how your character is going to work. But it's also going to show you the biggest thing in the world, the discipline that you have to be a band leader, to be a conductor, to be the everything guy, everything person, and learn your craft all at the same time. All of those things, they all come together to form one image. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's one image. What you do best. And they all end up going together. It is your job. And always remember this. It is always your job to run, to keep that band moving, motivated, and happening. And I don't care whether you are the band leader or anything else in that band. Because in reality, you are the band leader.
Whether they want to realize it or not, huh?
It's not even about wanting to realize. You have to drive that bus. You are the driver of that bus. That puts you in charge. And I'll say it again. I don't care who the band leader is. Quote, they are the ones who get the gigs. Quote, they are the ones who find the money. Quote, they are the ones who rehearsal. Quote, they are the ones who got to go after everything. But when it comes down to the music, there isn't but one band leader. You. And when that job is done, whether you are the other part, the other heads, or the other hats that you have to wear, who knows? But when it comes to the music, that's your job. You have to motivate everybody in that band. This has absolutely nothing to do with ego. It's a job. It's a job first, last, and always. And when you've done that, there's absolutely nothing that anybody can do to take that from you. Because that is part of your job. That is the job that you chose. When you chose to play the drums, you have to lead everybody, and at the same time, you got to follow everyone. And everybody, I've had people, oh my God, how are you going to lead and follow? Yes, that is your job. You got to do both. So that makes multiple choice. on your part of who you are and what you represent. That is your job. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that's how and why you stay in a band. That's why and how you move a band. That's how and why everybody in the band either likes you or don't. Because if you give them what they want, you're not going anywhere. But if you don't, they're going to look for somebody else to do it.
There's a balance to it, isn't there?
It is. And this is the thing that most musicians do not understand. Drummer has to do a double duty every time he sits down. It's always on double duty. Lead, follow. Lead, follow. Lead, follow. He's got to do that.
Because everyone's following you, but at the same time you got to follow everybody to know where the music's going, right?
Exactly. So you got to keep an open mind, which is what we call the next step, following, keeping an open mind. Now, you have now become the band leader in name as well, by having your own band. I have 4 bands. I am the band leader, but I have a conductor. I have somebody who handles the music in 3 of the bands. He takes the biggest job away from me so I don't have to think about the music. That's what you need. Somebody that's with you. Somebody that becomes your partner when it comes down to the music. And it doesn't matter whether it is the keyboard, the bass, the guitar, or the vocals.
You just got to find that one person, huh?
You've got to find that one person that's going to help you lift the burdens off you, to help you and motivate you and come around to the point to where you now start to create a sound with each one of them. You got to move yourself to that position. So now it's not about your playing. It's about your position that you have. That you got to now move folks to help you keep that band together. To come out with the music. To make the music sound good to everybody else. And it will take some of the weight off you of the pressure that you're always going to be under by being, quote, the band leader. Because all these other things you got to worry about. And when it comes down to the end of the night, everybody turns around and do this. They got their hands up. What do I get paid? How much? When? If not tonight, when? Part of your job. You decided to wear that hat. It's one of the main jobs that you got to worry about.
So it's almost like it's beyond the music.
It is beyond the music.
It is beyond the music, correct, yeah.
But it's part of the music. It's part of the scene. It's the part that nobody teaches you in the classroom. Because they want to teach you the notes. Well, I take those notes and put them where and in the perspective that they are needed. That's how I teach. That's why I ask for the tape recorder and the things that you got to go back to just to understand who you are. Not me. It's not about me anymore. It's about who you are. and the things that you have to learn for yourself.
You know, and I listen to the tape too. It's like as even, you know, just 2 months or two weeks. You know, every time I listen to it, as I get older, there's a new perspective to it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Well, you told me in the first 5 minutes what you've been doing for the last 6 months to a year. What I just said to you will enhance you for the next 6 months to a year.
Thank you.
Because that's what you're going to have to do. You're now stepping out of being just the drummer. You got to wear these different hats. It's part of the job. And that's what you're going to be learning. Now, going back, I know that part of what we did would have been how you sit, how you perform,
Snares off.
snares off. You know, I know the beginning things. What have they done for you to make you come to this position right now?
Well, I mean, for one, you said half my tempo's in half, and, you know, turn off the snares because they mask a lot of the sound. I found that, you know, just doing just a slow, you know, ballad groove, or, you know, even if I was just to do, you know, just a fast beat, but have it, just playing slow in general, taking deep breaths, knowing where the one is, focusing, you know, watching the band with my, you know, my third eye, all of that, and just being in the practice room alone and doing what you showed me. There's something very meditative about it. You know, I'm able to focus more not only on the drum set, but, you know, in real life. You know, when I'm practicing with my band, I see everybody as one, rather than, okay, what's the guitar player doing? And then, you know, I'm leaning to the right because I'm watching the guitar player. What's the bass player doing? You know, or the vocalist in front of me. You know, and I see all as one now, and how the music's coming together. And when there's a rough spot, maybe it's not just him that's doing it. Maybe there's something I'm doing that's affecting him, or there's something that the guitar player is doing. Maybe he's too loud. And so instead of just noticing one thing, you're noticing all things and how they're being affected. And, you know, knowing where the one is, that changed everything, you know, because I was a drummer who, I had good rhythm, I had a good sense of time, you know, I basically played off the music, but I never counted. And since then, you know, it was obviously, you know, you take baby steps. You can't just, okay, I count every time I play. You gotta keep the focus there. And so I was able to, you know, I mean, Beauty and the Beast, you know, with the conductor, I know where the one is because he's always, you know, doing that downbeat, you know, whether he's in cut time or 4/4 or 3/4 or whatever, you know, I know where that one is, you know, with my peripheral vision, you know, because I like you said, you know, just you keep your body still, you know, and when you need to look somewhere, you turn your head, not, you know, your whole body. And so, like, I can just see him with my, you know, the third eye thing. I can see his peripheral. I can know where that one is, and I'm always counting. So that's helped me know where the music is, even if I don't necessarily know what the figure is that I'm playing, you know, rhythmically, you know. And of course, you know, I use my ear a lot to kind of help determine what I'm reading, because my reading's a little, like, I can read pretty good, but I can't read, like, you know, anything on a dime. But I guess that's about the gist of it. Oh, and then the leather sole shoes. I had to go to 10 different stores to find it. No one sells leather sole shoes anymore. So I had to go to a Goodwill, and there was one pair there that fit me, and they definitely made a difference, you know, like being able to feel the vibrations, heel toe, and just I can go longer now, you know. I used to have to think that I had to stay active and, you know, do a lot of endurance exercises just so I could, you know, play fast tempos, or, you know, to be able to have that longevity. But, you know, just the shoes alone made so much of a difference, and being relaxed. And, you know, you said wrists first, fingers second, and ankles. Those are the main muscles that you use, and, you know, it's definitely helped. I mean, of course, you know, the bad habits always come back, and then you check yourself, and then you're like, okay, I'm kind of getting tired. Wait, duh, okay. But it's done a lot for me. It really has. It really has. It's more than I can put into words. Just beyond the drum set, beyond the music. It's. I remember in the tape you said your thing is to be there for me. When things start to get estranged and whatnot. And it's hard not to think of you when I sit at the drum set. It's like, okay, like if I'm doing something wrong, it's like, okay, what would Purdie say? You know what I mean? It's really cool. It's really cool.
Well, that's good, and that's what it's about. It will always be about that. But that's the discipline part of your learning, and you're doing that for yourself. That's the beauty. Yes, you've taken on this other step, this major step. Your teacher says to focus. Your teacher said, I got this third eye. I can see that. I can see all of this. But don't ever lose sight of that music. That music is 50% of what you need to do. It can show you immediately. Take the worries out, or where's things, or what's going on, what's happening. The reading is the simplest point. It's the hardest point to focus, and it shouldn't be. But it is because you're not totally comfortable with it yet. But once you get to the point of being totally comfortable about your reading, then you will know that your reading is interpreting. That's all it is. It takes the guesswork out. There's no guesswork anymore. Here it is on the paper. Dot, 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 dee, da, do. And you go, whoa! You read ahead of yourself and you know what's going to happen. That 2-bar down, oh man.
Or even the next page, right?
Yes. Because if you're reading the bar, as it is, you're going to be behind the beat. So you got to learn to read ahead. And that's where you can do that focus and see that. And if you miss it the first time, guarantee you that somebody else is playing it in the group. And then you start smiling to yourself because the next time around, when it's coming around, you got that sucker. Just like that. But that means that you're interpreting what the reading is. And that's what reading is, interpreting. It's not being afraid of the notes. It's not being afraid that, am I going to be right? It's already there. Somebody took the time to put it in. Now you have to do is interpret what it's supposed to be. That is the key to everything that you do. And it just makes, wow, where you can run a tractor trailer right through you. You open up, your whole mind and body is now open, and you're in sync with everybody that's in the band.
So it's almost like what you were saying with the third eye, seeing the members of the band, but you see the page, and you see the whole page rather than just this bar, and then this bar, and then this bar, and then this bar.
You open up. Because each bar, and if you're thinking about the time, and it's not going to change for 2, 3, 4 bars. And of course not, because you got to keep it simple, and you got to build on it, and it's happening, and you're now looking and listening for what's going on around you, what others are doing, and it fits into this pattern, and you're down there, dum 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 dum. Dun, 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 and dun, 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 and dun, dickle, 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 dun, dun. Oh, you start smiling to yourself because all you did was answer. You don't have to play everything that they play. You connect with them. That's what makes music. Because now you are spreading and opening up that music. happens to be the field that you're in. Or if you're and you stop hitting, what was that? Who is doing that? Oh, something, oh, this guitar's over here. That extra thing, ooh, yeah. And before you know it, picked up all kinds of little things that you see, that you enhance of what it is.
So it's almost hard to focus on those other things if you're just focused on one bar, right?
If you focus on one bar, you'll never be able to focus on anything else. Because then they're going to wonder, where are you? You're not helping us. Come on. Support us.
That's what being a drummer's about, right? Being support.
That's your job. You've got to support. That's why I say, when you are the leader, you're also the follower. You got to follow everything that's going on, and then you got to lead, one at a time. But yet you're doing both things at the same time, because they're going to start depending on the things that you do to support them.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
And that's part of your job. It's not worrying about what the tempo is. It's not worrying about how many notes you got. It's all about making those notes feel good to everybody, including yourself. That is part of your job. And
Foundation.
Foundation. There you go.
It's a big job.
Sure, it's a big job. You chose it.
Because I like the challenge.
Okay, challenge is there. But you chose it. This is what you wanted to do. So if you're going to choose something that you want to do, then you have to master it. And make it happen for you. It's always going to be in a circle. And we also call it a cycle. It's the same. It's the same. This goes around. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So you have to know where to put something when you want to push a little bit. Push a little bit. Stop. Oh, have mercy. To accomplish everything that you're looking for. It's still part of your job.
And no matter what, you're going to always end up at the same place, huh?
You'll end up in the same place. And it's your job. Yeah. It's nice to see that you are putting the dots together, as we call it. And that means to focus, that's all. You're connecting the dots. You're connecting everything around you. Remember what I said before? Breathe so you can keep it going. That's the energy. That is strictly the energy. Got to do it. No getting away from it, no getting around it. That's what you have to do. Okay? It's good. You've accomplished a great deal.
Thank you. It doesn't seem like much at first, you know, because, I mean, you know, you wake up and you see yourself in the mirror every day, and, I mean, it's crazy, this whole past year, 2012, I feel like I learned more about myself in the whole year than I have my whole life. crazy. Beyond music, beyond, you know, beyond anything, just singular.
Yes, but don't ever, you don't ever put yourself down. Not about that. It's about putting yourself into the focus lane. Now you got to learn to carry yourself. Besides that, you got to carry everybody else that's in the band. So always remember that. You took on this job.
Gotta be strong.
You got to be strong. You got to be strong. It's not about what you play. Now it's becoming how you play it. How you're playing it. Everything that you do. Not about the tempo. When you focus on what it is, you stay there. Energy, just energy, that's all. That's how you do dynamics, which is going to be your next biggest step, dynamics. But before you start worrying about dynamics, stay tight on your focus part. Remember now, you took on a new job. Being the band leader. Being the band leader. Whew. Heavy job. Because you got to worry about everybody. Financially. Yeah.
Tough times.
Yeah, it is. It's not easy. It's not about your tempo. It's not about your time. It's about everything. You're taking on a big full-time job. So when you go home and you practice, you got to concentrate just on your practice, and then when you get off, well, I got to go do something else. Give that time for what you need to give for. Your energy. So everything that you do when you sit down to focus, you got to focus. That's what you have to do. So, you're back to your 20 minutes a day. Your 20 minutes a day of the beats that you're starting out with, where you want to go with. Still have to do that. And then, go crazy. Just, I gotta get some of this out of me. Shoot! And just go. And not worry about what you're playing. Just get some of the frustration out. So you can concentrate on now making the drums sound good. What kind of feel am I gonna go for? Let me make it feel good. How many notes can I not play? Not how many can I play, how many can I not play and make it feel good?
Make a groove.
Make a groove. Simplify it. Simplify it. So now you know, it's like, oh, okie dokie, I gotta go someplace else. Focus here, there, and everywhere else. It is part of the job.
To stay focused, right?
Yeah. So each one is going to help you for the other. Okay? Okay. Now, why don't you play a little bit, let me see just how far you've gone.
Progress? Okay.
Well, it's not just about the progress. I know that you progress because you've already told me that. That's why we're discussing what we're doing. So we don't have to regress. We don't have to run all the way back. You've already utilized about 80 to 90% of what I've said to you. Oh, I already know that part. I just want to see a little bit of you feel, that's all.
Okay.
Right at the moment.
Alright. Snares off, right?
Snares off.
I wasn't sure how long you wanted me to go on. I could go on for hours.
No, one has nothing to do with the other. What I just did and how I just focused on where and what you were doing is deciding where you were going to go with it. That's what I was doing, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. Everything you sit down to play, you got to move on to the next step of what it's going to feel like to the listener. Whether they are looking at you and trying to see how you do it with your arms and your body movement and your motion and all that, they're looking at that. They're not looking at what the sound. They don't see the notes as you see them. They hear them and they want to know, wow, does that sound good? Or does this sound good? And where? Then they start, eyes pop open and then they want to see. And then they take it all in and they go back, yeah. Now they can focus on the drum, on what drum that you're hitting.
I guess I never really thought of it that way. It's hard to put
Well, that's what everybody.
in the listeners.
Everybody turn around and they say, oh man, you had your eyes closed. Your eyes were wide open. Because you are now visualizing where you have to go with what you're doing. So it means that you are now focusing. Well, the public does the same. They have to focus on what you're doing and what they like when they hear something. And how do they do it? They close their eyes. Then they can see you. To them, oh, I can hear where he's going. And doom, go, gong, doom, gong, ding, ka, doom, boom, dong, ding, goom, ding, ka, boom, boom, boom. Before you know it, they start playing your part. That's seeing. That is actually seeing what you are doing.
Without using your eyes. Huh.
That's the focus part. They can actually see how you are going about making those drums work for you.
It's interesting. I never thought of it that way.
Well, that's why it's called focusing. That's why it's called We already got you to the third eye. The third eye is what causes you to focus. You're no different than anybody else. That's what you have to do. But they got to do the same thing. When they are into you, their body moves. Just like yours. It moves. Might not move in the same direction, but it moves.
Maybe even without them knowing it, huh?
All they know is it feels good. Then they said, wow, that sounds good too. Let me hear what drum he's playing on. Then they're like this, and they break their focus. Because they're trying to look at you to see what you're doing. And all they have to do is kind of close their eyes a little bit, and they can see you. They can, wow. They start playing drum. That's why everybody in the world wants to be a drummer.
So true.
We all do. It's nature. That's Mother Nature in us. That is where the feel comes from. We either have it or we don't. We got to focus in on what is working for us. That makes us free. Feet got to move. Body got to move. That's why we dance. We have to. It's part of the job.
That's all we had in the beginning, huh? It was just a voice and the beat.
That's where it's always been and always will be. Now we got other instruments that we got to deal with where there's other melodies. Because when we are dealing with the rhythms, it's not necessarily the melody, it's a rhythm. We're not singing the melody because we don't know it. Until we learn what the melody is, and now the melody goes on top of what the rhythm was that we now have already focused on. It's just part of the job. It's part of life. It's part of what you have to do to make things work. So when you're doing something and you're playing and you make a mistake, you are the first one to feel the mistake. Oh, something happened. You grunt, you moan, or it didn't work. So you got to play it again to make it work, make the sound come out good. And when it does, you start smiling. Okay, I'm back on track. It's part of the job. Where you're moving towards focus.
It's almost like focus and discipline are two and one and the same.
They are, but yet they're so different. The discipline means that you can stay in one spot, stay in one area. But then the focus has to come in to make sure that that one area is still good. Discipline that is needed, that is necessary.
That's heavy.
It is. It is heavy, but at the same time, it's so nice when it works. When you learn about what you are doing actually works.
And it's not everybody understands it either.
It takes a while for some. So that's why some people are fed just the notes. And they think that, okay, well, I got the notes, let me get it down, let me get this down, and such. But then it stops. It stops because They hit a blank wall. That wasn't blank. Well, what happened? I had, yes. So what happens to that wall that's in front of it? Do you go through it, over it, or around it? It's up to you as the individual.
Or maybe even finding a whole nother way around it, you know?
That's right.
Maybe even climb the wall.
I think we've all climbed the wall one way or the other
Yeah.
at one time. But that's good. Okay. It's really, really good. Okay. Give me a samba
Samba?
or bossa,
Well, which one first?
whichever's going to make you happy first.
Alright.
Okay.
I'm still working on my Latin chops.
All right.
Not as confident in the Latin groove.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Because the point is that you did fine for the bossa. Okay, I thought you were going to go into the next step of it. You just didn't. That's okay too. But the
I don't know
point
if I
is,
know what the next step is.
well, it's like almost like double. That's what the samba is. It's taking the bossa. Now everything has to move it.
Do you mind demonstrating for me?
Okay.
It's not
I
too
just
much
did.
to ask. You did, but I
Just
want
did.
I want to see
Okay.
behind the kit. on, your foot barely moves when you go into that double time.
Because I can't do it from up here. If you're trying to do it up on your toes, you've already lost your balance.
And you drop your tempos.
You drop the tempos.
Man.
That's what it is.
So the slower beat was the bossa, and then the double time was the samba.
Yeah, but it wasn't a slower beat. It's the same tempo.
It's just
It's that you cut it in half of what you're doing. Mm, 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 just a fast 4, which is fast 8.
it's just the feel that changes, but the tempo's still there. You can
Tempo's
count the
still
one in the same spot, huh?
Same spot. Good. That part you got. Just remembering where the 1 was. It's that simple.
It's not as hard as some people make it out to be. You know.
Only it's hard when you don't understand where the 1 is. You come right back to the same thing all times, knowing where 1 is. And all you're doing is changing the feel. The sound changes, but it's the feel that you open yourself up.
Like you said, keep an open mind, huh?
Keep an open mind. Okay. I think you did good.
Thank you.
I think you did real good. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's that time.
But you know the beauty of it is that when you start to grab a hold of the things that you're going for, that you came in to get, it's all about the understanding. It's all about taking that part and making it work. For you. Not for me, but for you. Means that you're starting to understand what it is that makes you tick. It's that simple. It's all about the relaxation. The way you had your hi-hat, your legs were too far open.
I'm bow-legged, so it's.
No, I understand that.
Oh, okay.
But it was still too far over. It still meant that you had to reach when you're sitting down.
I do get cramps on my left leg now that you say
Yeah,
that.
because it's too far over. All you have to do is bring it,
Just a little bit closer.
that's all. It might be 1, 2, or 3 inches closer inside. So you don't have to reach as far. Reaching causes you to drop tempos. And it's gonna happen every time.
It's good to know, thank you.
Okay. You're doing good. You've done good. You've done quite well.
Thank you.
And I was very pleased, very, very pleased to hear in your email of things that you said. But as soon as you got here, instead of you have to go back and show me all this, we were able to talk on to the next step to making that work.
The transition, huh?
Yes.
I mean, because I guess it's one thing, you know, being told come to the lesson, and then, you know, I mean, I'm sure you've had lots of students, but, or, you know, just, I don't know how many students you've had, but, you know, I mean, with any teacher and any student, it's one thing being told and then actually applying it, actually, you know, the teacher is willing to teach if the student's willing to learn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, you know, I could have easily just came to the lesson, not gotten the shoes, just been like, oh, you know, it won't work, but, you know, I tried it, and it did work.
Of course. And then you told me so. And that's the beauty of it. It means that I don't have to keep going back over some things, and you can move ahead, add to it. And that's what we did today. We added a lot today.
I definitely I
Oh,
could tell.
you're gonna hear
It's
it.
gonna, I'm gonna
You're
hear
gonna
it.
hear it, and you're gonna start thinking, "Oh my God, yeah, but that goes with this, and that goes with that." And
And I'm gonna hear it over and over, and in correlation with the first, I've still learned stuff on the first
Good.
tape. I'm glad you encouraged that. Thank you.
well, I had to do that because I, in the beginning, I was going back over myself with so many students that I had dealing with the '60s, and I finally said, bring the tape recorder. So everybody started bringing the tape recorder. I had teachers that, well, why do you do that? Because you're not going to keep the students long. I said, keep them. I want them to learn. I'm not interested in having to be here another year or two before they pick this up. They need to know this. This is something they can take home and practice, play it back.
So you've been doing this since the '60s, the tape recorder, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And now that they got this thing,